Marriage is a gamble. You bet on love, hoping it lasts through bad hair days and worse choices. I thought I had it figured out after 15 years. I was wrong. My name's Jake Sullivan, an IT guy from Austin, Texas. I love craft beer, fantasy football, and my Ford F-150. My wife, Megan Carter, runs admin at St. David's Medical Center. She's 47, gorgeous, with a smile that could sell cars. We survived IKEA fights and her Real Housewives obsession. Our suburban life was solid, or so I thought. Then Megan hit a midlife crisis. It hit harder than a Texas heatwave. She stared at mirrors, freaking out over tiny wrinkles. They were invisible to me, but to her, they were a crisis. "Jake, I'm fading." She'd cry, poking her face. I tried calming her down. "Babe, you're hotter than Austin in July." It didn't work. Megan started Googling Botox and BBLs. She wanted her youth back, like it was a lost wallet. I'm not against plastic surgery. If you need a $10,000 face fix, go for it. But Megan was panicking, not thinking. Surgery wouldn't solve her deeper fears. I suggested a better plan: eat healthier, exercise, maybe buy fancy leggings. She jumped in, swapping Taco Bell for salads. Our fridge became a LaCroix shrine. I was proud, even if I missed our waffle fries. Then I had a brilliant idea. I suggested a personal trainer. Big mistake. It was like inviting a coyote to a barbecue. Trust is fragile, like a cheap beer glass. I didn't know it yet, but I'd just lit a fuse. This story's about to get wilder than a Longhorn tailgate. Stay tuned for the mess. If you're sensing a train wreck, hit that like button and subscribe for the chaos. Our kitchen was a Taco Bell paradise. Now, it's a veggie battlefield. Megan's midlife crisis turned her into a health fanatic. She chopped kale like she was on Chopped. "Eat this, Jake," she'd say, shoving greens at me. I'd swallow, dreaming of Whataburger's honey butter biscuits. Our fridge lost its soul. Dr. Pepper vanished, replaced by LaCroix cans stacked like trophies. Saturday nights went from Netflix and burgers to quinoa salads. I missed our greasy date nights. Megan was all in, running circles around me. She was chasing eternal youth. I tried to join her. She jogged through our Austin suburb, weaving past kids on bikes. I'd tag along, huffing like a tired mule. My IT job and Monday night football kept me away half the time. Megan didn't mind. She'd blast Beyoncé and sprint like a gazelle. Supplements invaded our bathroom. Collagen, zinc, some weird herb called ashwagandha. Our cabinet was a vitamin store. "This boosts energy," Megan would say, waving a bottle. I'd pop a gummy, clueless. It was like reading a fitness manual in Klingon. I just nodded along. I wasn't built for this. I'd sneak Popeyes in my truck, eating tenders like a spy. I'd chew gum to hide the grease. Megan was too busy to notice. She scrolled Instagram, drooling over fitness influencers. "Look at her glutes," she'd say, showing me videos of women lifting cars. Her wardrobe got a makeover. Lululemon leggings, Alo yoga tanks, sneakers pricier than my rent in college. Our credit card bill looked like we'd funded a yoga retreat. I teased her about it. "You opening a gym, babe?" She laughed, twirling in her gear. I thought it was harmless. Megan hated public gyms. "Too far," she said, so she turned our garage into a fitness fortress. A Bowflex, a Peloton treadmill, yoga mats softer than our bed. "No excuses," she declared, flexing in a sports bra. It was smart. Our neighbors never used their gym memberships. I admired her drive. 4 months later, Megan was a new woman. She'd pose in the mirror, grinning like she'd won a medal. "Am I tighter, Jake?" she'd ask, flexing arms that could crush walnuts. "You're a superhero," I'd say, impressed. Her phone buzzed constantly, though. Smirks replaced her smiles. She'd text late at night, giggling during our Yellowstone binges. "Work stuff," she'd say, hiding her screen. I didn't push, but my gut churned. Instagram was full of fitness models and protein shakes. I told myself it was her new hobby. I was dead wrong. Her confidence was sky high. She'd strut through our cul-de-sac, turning heads at the mailbox. Neighbors whispered about her glow-up. I was proud, but uneasy. Those texts, that phone, she was hiding something. I just didn't know how bad it was yet. I thought a trainer would keep Megan on track. I imagined a gruff ex-coach, not a guy who looked like he posed for protein ads. Chad Brooks rolled into our Austin life like a tornado in a tank top. Megan got his name from a co-worker at St. David's. "He's amazing," she said, flashing a Yelp review. I shrugged, clueless. Chad arrived in a Jeep, his man bun tighter than my wallet. His tank top hugged him like a second skin. He shook my hand, nearly breaking it. "What's good, man?" he said, grinning like a toothpaste ad. I felt like a slob next to him. My instincts screamed danger, but I ignored them. He turned our garage into his kingdom. Megan jogged on the Peloton, and Chad cheered like a football coach. "Kill it, Megs." He'd yell. She'd laugh, dripping sweat. I watched from my office, sipping coffee. It looked normal, like a workout video on YouTube. Megan was blooming under Chad's guidance. Her body was lean, her confidence louder than a megaphone. She'd strut in leggings, showing off biceps that could snap a broom. "Look at my arms," she'd say. "You're a machine, babe," I'd reply, distracted by server crashes. She was killing it. Her phone was a problem, though. It buzzed all night, and she'd smirk at texts during our Stranger Things marathons. "Hospital stuff," she'd mutter, hiding her screen. I saw her like Chad's Instagram, shirtless pull-ups by Lady Bird Lake. My gut twisted. I didn't want to seem paranoid. "You really like Chad's posts," I said one night, keeping it light. She blushed, waving it off. "He's just inspiring, Jake." I let it go. We'd survived 15 years of her Bravo binges. A trainer wasn't a big deal, right? My trust was starting to wobble. Chad was at our house 3 times a week. Sessions stretched longer, sometimes hours. He'd stick around after, chatting about diets and reps. I overheard them laughing, her hand brushing his arm once. I ignored it, focusing on work. But something felt off, like a bad vibe. Megan was Chad's biggest fan. "He says I could do a fitness contest," she told me, eyes shining. I forced a grin. "You'd crush it, babe." Her phone kept buzzing, and Chad's posts were everywhere. I told myself it was nothing. I was about to eat those words. Megan was shining brighter than a 6th Street bar sign. Chad was her coach, and I was the guy sneaking burgers. Then, one Thursday, it all crashed. I called in sick, feeling like a hungover armadillo. I stayed in bed while Megan and Chad worked out in the garage. I didn't think much of it. Next morning, I headed to my F-150. A nasty scratch scarred the tailgate, deep and ugly. It looked like someone had a grudge against my truck. I stormed inside, pointing at the damage. "Megan, did you drag your gym gear across my truck?" She looked puzzled, shaking her head. "No clue, Jake," she said, sipping LaCroix. Her voice was too smooth. I wasn't convinced. That scratch was new, and I was home all day. Unless a raccoon got creative, something happened. I decided to check our Nest Cam in the garage. I grabbed a beer, opened my laptop, and pulled up the footage. The garage camera sees most of the space, but there's a blind spot by the door. I expected a clumsy delivery guy. Instead, I got a gut punch worse than a bad brisket. My marriage was about to implode. The video started fine. Megan jogged on the Peloton, Chad clapping like a hype man. 9 minutes in, he walked in, all swagger. They met near the door, half hidden. I saw them hug, way too close. Then Chad smacked her backside, bold as a bull. Megan swatted his hand, glancing at the house. Was she scared I'd catch them? I kept watching, hands shaking. The next hour was workouts, weights, squats, Chad fixing her form. It seemed normal, but that smack haunted me. Was it a flirty slip or something more? Then it got worse. After the session, they stood close, laughing like buddies. Chad stepped into the blind spot, acting like he was leaving. Megan followed. He slammed the door down, pinning her against my truck. The camera caught them kissing, hands roaming, for 3 minutes. I rewound, watched again, my beer warm. Chad's belt or keys scratched my truck, but the real scar was on my heart. They were making out in my garage, like I didn't exist. My trust shattered like a cheap pint glass. I was ready to lose it. I sat there, fuming. The footage looped in my head. Megan and Chad had turned our home into their playground. I couldn't unsee it. My 15-year marriage was a lunch. I wasn't just mad, I was ready to burn it all down. I was at work, the Nest Cam footage stuck in my head. Megan and Chad's garage kiss burned like a bad taco. I was furious, ready to flip desks. I couldn't confront her from my cubicle, so I waited, plotting my words. By evening, I was home, ready for a fight. Megan was about to face reality. She walked in at 7 p.m., all smiles and yoga pants. "Hey, honey, crazy day," she said, grabbing a LaCroix. I didn't smile. "I found the truck scratch culprit," I said, voice sharp. Her face froze, like she'd seen a snake. "Oh?" she mumbled, clutching her can. "Yeah," I said, stepping closer. "Nest cam caught you and Chad getting cozy yesterday." Her eyes widened, lips shaking. She said nothing, just stared at the floor. That silence hit harder than any excuse. "You were kissing him against my truck," I snapped. "Talk." Megan's face crumpled, tears falling fast. "Jake, she started, then stopped. "I wasn't buying it. Don't just cry. Say something," I yelled, slamming my beer down. She sobbed louder, but no words came. It was infuriating, like she thought tears could fix this. "I'm done," I said, voice cold. "I'm calling a lawyer. We're over." Her sobs turned to wails, but I was done caring. I grabbed another beer and left, driving to a South Lamar bar. 3 drinks later, I came home. Megan was on the couch, eyes red, whispering my name. I ignored her, heading to the guest room. I locked the door, done with her act. Morning came, and she was gone. Her Tesla, clothes, and yoga mats vanished. She'd probably fled to her sister's. I didn't care. I called a divorce lawyer, ready to end this. The lawyer's office was downtown, all glass and confidence. I paid the fees, signed the forms, and told him to move fast. "No drama, no alimony," I said. He nodded, sensing my anger. I was ready to cut Megan out. This wasn't love, it was a stab in the back. I thought about that footage all day. Megan's silence was worse than a lodge. I'd given her 15 years, and she threw it away for a gym bro. I wasn't just hurt, I was ready to fight back. My next move was brewing. This wasn't over yet. Megan was hiding at her sister's Westlake McMansion. I didn't call or text. Why bother? She'd made her choice with Chad in the garage. She called me the next day, voice soft. "I'm at Sarah's," she said, skipping the affair. I snorted. "Good. Papers are coming." I wasn't playing games. My lawyer, a guy with a mustache like a Western movie, had the divorce papers ready. Texas splits everything 50-50, so we divide the house. I wanted it done fast. No alimony, no nonsense. I was ready to move on. I drove to Sarah's to serve the papers. She answered, looking shocked. "Megan's in the shower," she said, waving me inside. "I wasn't here for tea." "Give her these," I said, handing over the envelope. Sarah tried to mediate, but I shut her down. "She's got nothing to say." Megan appeared on the stairs, towel wrapped, eyes wet. "Jake, please," she whispered, reaching out. I stepped back. "Sign the papers," I said, walking out. Her sobs followed me, but I was done. I drove off, feeling lighter, like I dropped a heavy load. The divorce moved quickly. Megan didn't fight much, which surprised me. She wanted alimony, saying she needed support. I laughed in my lawyer's office. "She's got Chad's biceps," I said. We agreed to sell our bungalow, splitting the cash over 3 years. I moved into my buddy Dave's condo. His spare room became my hideout, full of beer cans and pizza boxes. I'd lie awake, replaying that footage. 15 years, and I'd been played. But I wasn't wallowing. I was planning something bigger, something to make them squirm. Megan called again, begging to talk. I hung up. She wouldn't admit her mistake, and I wasn't her therapist. The house sold fast, and I got my share in installments. It felt good to cut ties. But I wasn't done with Chad or Megan yet. I started hanging out with Dave, swapping stories over Lone Stars. He'd laugh, saying I dodged a bullet. I agreed, but the wound still stung. I needed closure, and not the therapy kind. I wanted payback, the kind that hits where it hurts. Chad's business was my first target. Divorce papers signed, house sold, and me crashing at Dave's. I was ready to stir the pot. Megan and Chad thought they'd slipped away clean. Not today. I'm no brawler, but give me your laptop, and I'm a menace. Chad's fitness empire was about to crash. I was ready to play dirty. I hit his business pages first. Yelp, Google, his sketchy website. I left reviews everywhere. "Chad steals wives while you lift weights," I wrote. "Book him if you want a broken home." It was petty, and I loved every word. I pictured his man bun wilting with every post. Chad called, all fake tough guy energy. "You're killing my business." He whined. "I'll sue you," I laughed, sipping my beer. "I've got your garage kiss on tape, bro. Want to show a judge?" He went silent, then hung up. I'd shut him down cold. Next, I spread the word locally. At a neighborhood barbecue, I told everyone about Megan and Chad's garage fling. Nest cam caught it all, I said, waving at Taco. The group chat exploded with gossip. Megan called, sobbing. "You're ruining me," she cried. I smirked. Truth's a tough pill. I considered Tinder for a rebound. Swiping felt like picking heartbreak, though. Instead, I joined a gym, not Chad's, and started lifting. I wasn't trying to be him. I just wanted to feel strong again. Deadlifts were cheaper than therapy, and twice as fun. My friends rallied around me. Dave and I hit Austin bars, laughing over beers. "You're better off," he'd say, clinking my glass. I nodded, but the betrayal still burned. I kept posting about Chad, tanking his reviews. Neighbors stopped booking him, and his Instagram went quiet. The divorce wrapped up cleanly. Megan got her house money, and I got my freedom. No alimony, just a fresh start. I was still angry, but I was moving forward. Chad's business took a hit, and Megan's social life sank. Revenge felt sweeter than a Texas peach pie. I started running in Zilker Park, clearing my head. Every step felt like leaving Megan behind. I wasn't healed, but I was getting there. The footage still haunted me, but I was done being the victim. I was ready to write my own story now. 2 weeks after the divorce, I'm in a South Austin apartment. It's small, with a taco truck view and a neighbor who strums guitar at midnight. I'm sipping a Lone Star, staring at unpacked boxes. My life's a mess, but it's mine. Megan's gone, and I'm finding my way. It's a start. I was her biggest fan. I cheered her midlife crisis, pushed salads over scalpels, suggested that trainer. What did I get? A knife in the back. It hurts, like stepping on a Lego in the dark. I'm not crying, though, I've got beer for that. I miss the old Megan. The one who laughed at my bad puns, hated our neighbor's chihuahua. That loss stings more than the affair. Trust is a risky bet, and I lost big. But I'm learning to bet on myself. That's a game I can win. I'm hitting the gym now, lifting weights like I'm fighting the past. It's not about Chad, it's about me. Every rep builds a stronger Jake. My mirror shows a guy I'm starting to like. Marriage was a wild ride, but walking away feels right. I'm ready for what's next. I run in Zilker Park, the Austin skyline in view. It's my city, my fresh start. Megan and Chad are history, like a bad movie I walked out of. I'm not healed, but I'm moving forward. Life's a gamble, and I'm all in on me. Bring on the next chapter. If you laughed, raged, or wanted to kick a treadmill, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more chaos.